because this was before I really started like getting into this stuff back here in the back, man. So Steve, you know me for a long time. I'm toning it down what I actually said. You know what I'm saying, right? Because I want to keep it PG-13.
Sure.
Anyways, though, but he told me this story, man, and it's funny because, we had a mutual friend pass away about at the beginning of the year, and he texted me. He actually lives just north of me, and I was like, "Hey, man, we'll get together," and I'm gonna tell him about this story. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. So actually that's the story that I first heard way back in the day when I was in the military. So Steve, do you have any Jersey Devil stories before we get into the lore?
Myself, no. I'm in northern New Jersey. I'm not near the Pine Barrens, so I've been there before, but it's not a place where I've really traveled through too much and really don't know anyone down that way. So I personally don't know anyone who's ever claimed to have encountered the story, but it's something everyone here knows it. I've known about it since I was a kid. It's New Jersey folklore. Everyone knows it. I remember the very first time actually that I can recall really ever hearing about it was, I want to say in fourth grade. My elementary school classroom, they had this bookshelf kind of built into the wall, and I remember as a kid going through there and pulling through books, and one of the few books that I truly remember reading was a book about the Jersey Devil, and I loved it. I was fascinated by it, and it was just such a crazy story, such a crazy creature. I couldn't think that it would be real, and the fact that it's from right here in my backyard, it was just very compelling to me. So I'll always remember that book. Yeah,
and so would you ever go on a cryptid hunt for the Jersey Devil?
I would take the time to go down there and see. Would I go for an extended period of time? I probably wouldn't go crazy like some people and go on like a month-long expedition, but I go down for a weekend, go camping, see what happens, see what I come across.
So yeah, man. So the thing about that too is that I would think that the Pine Barrens being 1 million acres, right? And so like you could easily just get lost and die in there looking for this Jersey Devil. I mean, I hate to say that, man, but like. Also, too, man, like the Pine Barrens also used to be a notorious mob spot for dumping bodies. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there.
I was going to say, if you're a fan of The Sopranos, there's one episode where Christopher and Paulie, they are trying to get rid of somebody. He's still alive. They got him back in the trunk. They drive down to the Pine Barrens, and they go to open the trunk, whack the guy, and he runs off. And he gets away. And the whole episode is them running through the Pine Barrens trying to find this guy. And it's so big, you can just get lost down there.
So big. So anyways, all right. So there's going to be two lines of theories on this Jersey Devil. We'll start with the mystic folklore portion of it. Steve, do you know about this?
Well, actually, before we get into it, I just want to I want to set the tone here for myself, and I'll throw on my Jersey Devil's jersey.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, Steve. Okay, Steve's gotten his colors.
Got my colors on.
All right. So Jersey Devils. All right. For those who don't know, Jersey Devils is a very mediocre hockey team out of New Jersey.
Multi-Stanley Cup champions.
Multi-Stanley Cup winners. Actually, one of the best fights I've ever saw was when the New Jersey Devils got into a fight. I want to say with Pittsburgh, and it was so bad. This cat named Ron Hextall was the goalie for the Jersey Devils. Skated down and tackled the other goalie. It was amazing, man. Like everybody was fighting. Yeah.
It was bad, when the goalies start getting involved.
Exactly, man. It's always good. It's always good. All right, Steve. So you're zoned in, Steve. You're zoned in. All right, we're gonna dial it in. So, anyways, the most accurate description I would not say accurate. The most consistent description of what the Jersey Devil looks like is they describe it is bipedal, hoofed feet, wings, forked tail. Horse face like a horse or like a goat with horns.
Oh yeah, that's what the typically between the two of those. Yeah.
So that's where some people vary on other types of things, but the most consistent one that I've ever heard, and I did a brief little skim on this too, and that was the description that most people came.
Yeah, and can't remember if you mentioned, but wings too, bat-like wings.
Have bat-like wings, right? So, yeah, just think devil, little leathery devil. Take away the pitchfork, right?
Yes, very accurate name.
So actually, the Jersey Devil also has a little claim to fame as well. The legend of the Jersey Devil actually is older than Loch Ness Monster and older than a lot of them. The Jersey Devil first lore started around 1735, back in the 18th century.
Mm-hmm.
And the original story for them is that there was this lady, her name was Leeds. Her last name was Leeds. I can't remember. Jane Leeds on my notes. Her name was Jane Leeds, right?
Yep.
AKA Mama Leeds, and she supposedly had 12 children and got pregnant for a 13th time. And because of the pregnancy, the urban legend goes, she was so upset she cursed the kid, saying that the kid was of the devil. And so that when the night the kid was born, big storm rolled up, shook the house, baby was born. But immediately the baby came out, so they transformed, turned into what we just described, except a little mini version. They tried to kill it or catch it, scooted up the chimney and took off. And henceforth, the Jersey Devil was created. Steve, I know I gave that the Cliff Notes, but I'll leave anything out there?
No, that sounds about right. But yeah, and this was, like you said, this was of the Leeds family. Her name, she's known as Mother Leeds. And typically, so at the time, Leeds, Leeds, was a common name down in South. That was like a communal name down there. So even the town was called Leeds Point. So it's kind of,
I didn't know that
was, and I'm not sure if you're aware too, but the name, the Jersey Devil, is actually relatively newer. That didn't come about until about the early 1900s. At the point, up until then, it was known as the Leeds Devil. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Look at Steve. Check out the big brain on Steve, y'all. Huh? Told you so. Right? Graduated fifth grade. Graduated fifth grade.
Right.
I actually want to say too, man, that 1735, I know when I first stumbled across the Dogman story, I want to say that around that time, the late 1700s, it might even be older than that, out of Michigan was the first Dogman sighting on it. But for you people who watch our show, you know I bring the receipts on this all the time. And throughout history, there have been several sightings of this creature. One of the more famous ones was a guy named Joseph Bonaparte. Steve, do you know who he is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, hit him, Steve.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.